I would like to respond to the Biden administration's recent actions in dealing with the crisis in Afghanistan. So, if you aren't aware, allow me to just give you a quick briefing of the situation. So, as you know, we pulled out of the long 20-year war slash occupation of Afghanistan. And while it was a good thing to do that, considering what we did to the region, Biden has frozen all of their money, frozen their assets. We have imposed staggering sanctions on them, and we have also effectively frozen their central bank. And so what's happening is millions of people in Afghanistan are struggling. They're enduring a famine as we speak. It's one of the most acute human rights crises or humanitarian crises in the world right now, on the level of the starvation in Yemen, which we are also permitting to go on, the U.S. is, and we are arming Saudi Arabia, who are furthering their genocide of the Yemeni people. And so this is just another box on the checklist of the U.S. empire here. So we pulled out, we froze their assets, destabilized their central bank. And so teachers, doctors, many working people in Afghanistan aren't getting paid. Children are undergoing malnutrition. I mean, it's really sad and evil what's going on here. This is a level of callousness, a level of degradation that's pretty much unparalleled to pretty much anything else in society today. And President Biden has decided to take the following action. So there's about $7 billion in assets that he has frozen. And what he has decided to do is he wants to split the money. He wants to take 3.5 billion and allocate it towards families of victims of September 11th. So let me put that in layman's terms. He wants to steal Afghan money. It's their money. I mean, it's not our money. It's theirs. We've taken it from them. He wants to steal their money and give it to the relatives of the victims of the September 11 attacks. And then in an executive order that he issued, it doesn't really say what he wants to do with the other half of the money. There are reports that are saying, such as the New York Times article, that they're going to give it to humanitarian efforts and stuff, but there's no clear-cut language as to where that money's going to go. This is, I mean, words can't really accurately describe the level of evil that's going on here. I mean, so you would think after 20 long years of extermination, of decimating this region, of bombing the shit out of it, killing innocent civilians of, uncountable numbers. Hundreds of American soldiers have died over the course of those decades, those 2 decades, 2 long decades, 20 years. You would think after this long time, after we finally ended the war, the very least we could do is give them their money back and release these sanctions, economic sanctions, I might add you. I mean, 1 million children are set to starve. They're enduring a very harsh winter. Not to also state the fact that this part of the world, this region, is growing more and more uninhabitable than it already is. So they're having a refugee crisis, and pretty soon we'll be seeing a refugee crisis in the Middle East because of climate change, the likes of which we've never seen, and our leaders are failing to combat that issue overall as well. I mean, this is just sad. Let me give to you, this is a little from The Intercept so you can really understand what's happening here. This is an article from The Intercept. Multiple international organizations have warned that these conditions have pushed nearly 10 million Afghans to the brink of starvation. To survive, people are burning their furniture and other possessions to stay warm or selling them for food. While those 20 years of war and irregularly long drought and especially severe winter have set the stage for the crisis, the proximate cause of the Afghan people's suffering is the seizure of Afghan assets, coupled with sanctions imposed by the United States government. While the Biden administration has offered $308 million in humanitarian assistance and implemented policies to streamline the delivery of that assistance, this seizure of billions of dollars of Afghan money is, of course, the biggest setback to them experiencing any kind of recovery at all. I mean, we shut down nearly all of their economic activity. We've defunded their central bank. I mean, how are these innocent civilians supposed to survive? And when you ask our elected leaders, such as people like Rand Paul, who's supposed to be a libertarian, he's against lifting the economic sanctions. He's against giving Afghans their money. And it's not just him. That sentiment goes across Washington. I mean, they don't even want to look into what's going on. I think it was Pramila Jayapal who brought up a bill that couldn't even get the full support of the Democrats to just look into the situation in Afghanistan, not technically do anything about it. I mean, it's sad, but this is what's happening. And this is not arguably, this is worse than the 2-decade war because more people will be hurt by this. I mean, over 10 million people, a million children. And our leaders, they're not leaders at all. They're just corrupt ghouls. They just sit idly by as this is allowed to persist. And I also want to remind you, just in case you forgot, he wants to take half of the money, steal it, and give it to the families of the victims of the 9/11. Why can't our government pay those people? Why do we have to steal the money from the Afghans? And even this $7 billion, I mean, it wouldn't be enough to fully like I guess 100% ease their situation, but it would damn sure help out a lot. And hopefully this situation improves, but it's really damning on the part of the United States.